Hey, what's up, guys? So for those of you who have been around for the last few weeks, we've been on a bit of a journey. For those that are just joining, we're in the process of 3D printing a lot of add-ons for the sim rig to try to make it as immersive as possible. And the progress so far has been really exciting, but at the same time, it takes a lot of time designing and printing these parts. So each week I'm trying to do updates to let you guys know how things are going with the build. This week I haven't necessarily made as much progress with new prints, but I have added some things on that I think will make the rig more immersive. Still a work in progress on all of it, but I did want to take some time to catch you guys up on that. Now that being said, I think it's important at least once every 6 months to a year to go back and look at all the upgrades that have been done on the rig. So another thing I wanted to cover in this video is just everything that's gone into this rig in the last year, because it's been tremendously overhauled from where it was prior. And I think it would just be cool to talk about some of the upgrades and changes that have taken place with it. So first, let me show you guys what I got done this week. For those of you that have been following the build for the last few weeks, the biggest thing that's going to stand out right out the gate is the new seat. And right over here, you might remember the old seat didn't really fit the rig. It wasn't really a solid racing seat. So now we've got this NRG seat, and I was tossed between which seat to go with, really. And ultimately I chose to go with the NRG because it had the color, the fabric, and the speed of shipping that I wanted. So overall, like, it was a good option. I was tossed between that, track racer, and I even considered just going all in and getting a Sparco seat, but ultimately I still have a lot of things I want to do with the rig, and I felt like from a budget perspective and just a full functionality, the NRG seat was the way to go. So the seat got changed out this week. Another thing that's going to stand out to you and probably look a little funny right now, you'll notice the two nets, and the red one, light red over here on the right, is the old netting. It's 1 inch thick, didn't really work the way I wanted it to. It didn't look that good. And the maroon is the new netting. Now don't judge my sewing. The net is still a work in progress, but I don't think the sewing is going to get a whole lot better. And you'll notice the bungee cord is kind of a temporary solution right here to keeping this tight until I build the other side. I do think somehow I'm going to incorporate the bungee cord though, because I like the tension that it puts on this. I still have some parts to figure out, and I think if I put tension on the second one and have two different tension straps and one permanently mounted, I'll be able to keep a nice tight look on the sim rig. So as I build the other side, I'll incorporate some kind of tension system, like bungee tension system, that's gonna help tighten all that up, and you won't see that weird sloppiness in the middle of the strap here. Just kind of a work in progress. And of course, the last thing added to the rig this week, something that I'm really excited about, and I think with a little bit of effort is going to be really, really cool, is this pipe right here. This is my new addition to the roll cage, and you might notice it's not matching any of the other roll cage. On the agenda is to thicken the roll cage to 1.5 inches all the way around. I know that's a little bulky, but ultimately I want to go with a nice thick piping all the way around so it's nice and sturdy. And I plan on incorporating it into the roof. The other thing is I need to paint it all black. So I'm gonna redo it, and I'm gonna paint it all black because it'll match in with the cars I typically drive in the rig. It won't necessarily stand out as much, but the overall immersion will be a lot better, I think. This does swing open, very simple design. As far as parts I had to make for it, I did use 1.5 inch PVC, so all of the straight piping, very simple. All I had to do was grab 1.5 inch PVC from Home Depot and cut it up. I printed the cap, I printed the connection in the middle, and I had to print the connectors up at the front because in order to get the exact angle that I wanted, there wasn't going to be a connector that I could just go grab from Home Depot that would work for that. I had to make my own connections, and right now nothing's actually glued in place. This is pretty much just all stuck together, and it's pretty sturdy. I mean, you could see it's shaking the dash, but the overall build just stuck together. It's very tight. There's not a lot of tolerance in there. And then of course I had to create a couple connectors, as you can see right down there, my little TWE connectors to hold the pipe to the rig. So that's pretty much the gist of what's had to be designed this week to get the rig where it's at right now. Now, as I said in the beginning, I really want to talk about some of the upgrades that have taken place in the last year. So let's take a walk around the rig and let me show you some of the things that I've upgraded over the last year to get the rig to this level so far. For this part, you guys are gonna have to bear with me a little bit because I don't have a gimbal and I apologize for the shakiness of the camera. That's why I've tried to keep it stationary for most of the video. Now, jumping into upgrades on the rig, I won't talk too much about the 3D printed stuff because I've been covering that the last few weeks and I don't think that it's really necessary. If you guys want to know more about the 3D prints, if you haven't been following along, go check out the videos from the last couple weeks. Been a lot of good progress. We're going to jump all the way back a year ago because it's been almost exactly a year since I put this roof on. And as you can see, it is quite a sloppy roof. This is one of the things that is on the list. Pretty much anything aesthetic on the rig is on the list to be upgraded because I had a lot of things I was trying to learn from an immersion standpoint and I wanted to get things up and running, but ultimately like it works for videos, not so good for overall appearance of the rig. If I take a step back, you can see things just look a bit sloppy all the way around. So doors are on the list, roof's on the list, but this roof I built about a year ago and did my own light boxes, as you can see here. And I am in the process, I've already started 3D printing new light boxes. I just need to do the tops to upgrade those. But that was almost exactly a year ago. If we go around to the back, that would be the next big upgrade was the PC, which we're not gonna be able to see much of. And there's not a lot to show anyways. It's not a very attractive PC, but it is a beefy PC. So that PC is a 7800X 3D processor with an RX 7900 XTX graphics card. I'm a big fan of AMD. I think that the bang for the buck is phenomenal. Over here on the right side, passenger side was built at the same time as the roof. It's also outdated and looks janky. So part of building the doors and everything will be also building a new deck for that side. I'm not really committed to the diamond plating. It's not common to find diamond plating in GT3 cars that I typically would be racing in. So from an immersion standpoint, I'm not really sold on the diamond plating. So those are just like some of the old aesthetics that need to be updated on the rig, but they are within the last year and I kind of wanted to update on where things were going with that. As far as critical performance upgrades, of course, I'm not going to be able to dig too deep into there, but for a wheelbase, I recently upgraded to the Fanatec Club Sport DD Plus. Phenomenal wheelbase, absolutely excellent detail. I've done a review video on it. I absolutely love that wheelbase and almost equivalently as good. No, okay, that's not fair. I won't say equivalently as good. These things are a bit outdated, but I still like them. Is the V3 pedals. This is another upgrade from the last few months. See if I can get a little better shot up in there. So this is the Fanatec inverted V3s. And while they are a very outdated set of pedals, I still think that they work really well. I've added a damper to the gas pedal. They feel great. The load cell's good. Overall control of the car. And I love having the inverted pedals. So those are the two biggest performance upgrades. And of course, both much better than running your basic like CSL setups and stuff like that. But I'm not opposed to CSL either. Don't take that the wrong way. If you guys are looking for Fanatec gear, make sure you check out the affiliate link in the description. Always appreciate the support when you guys shop through the affiliate links. So those are probably the biggest upgrades. I mean, there's little tweaks here and there. Now, moving into focus areas, I am waiting on the Vocor screen so I could do a proper Race Logic lap timer, and then I'll properly mount it to probably to the little swinging roll cage here, just to give it that look and have it blend into the screen. Of course, I got to get the whole framework of the rig done. I want it to all be consistent framework all the way around, and I'm considering a really solid foam roof. So in addition to any 3D printing projects that I have going on, those are some other build areas that I'm going to be working on with the rig. And it seems like there's a lot that's gone on in the last year, but I guess that pretty much is the major upgrades. So you could see, based on what I just explained, how much of the rig has come along in the last couple weeks. So big things moving along. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. Make sure you guys ring the bell. I'll see you guys next week. You guys are definitely going to want to see where this ends up. I know so many people have been interested in it, and I look forward to continuing our little journey building this rig.